So this year with the new CBA, there are some potential rules coming back. One of the there were flares shot in the air and confetti thrown when we found out that there would be no more 7 inning doubleheaders and no more ghost runners during extra innings. Well, hold off on that confetti gun there for just a little bit because we might be getting ghost runners back in an extra inning.
Start picking up the confetti.
Yeah.
Get your dustpans out.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and this is the thing, it's the players initiating this, saying, you know what, we don't like extra innings so much. We don't like 17, 18 innings. I don't blame them. I think I've told this story before. I was covering our college baseball team, Brig, and one of the guys came in who had pitched for the team before, and we got to like the 13th inning. He's like, man, if I was pitching this game, it'd be over. Like, what do you mean? Because you get into the 11th, 12th inning, I'm going to groove one for you so this game can end because I am not sticking around. I'm sorry. We'll come back and we'll play tomorrow and we'll sort it out then.
Yeah.
So, and these guys are all hyper competitive, and I don't feel like when you get to the pro level, you're willing to do that. But at the same time, you're like, let's do something to figure this out because it's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super long. And I don't blame the players for feeling that way. I just think a runner on second during extras is like, I just think it's the wrong answer. That's all.
I do too, because it's a little league rule, and it needs to stay in little league, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the home run derby solution because that's what they're going to be doing in the All-Star game this year, probably. If it goes into extras, go into a home run derby, which would be fantastic. I've seen legitimate sudden death, which would be so exciting. So exciting.
Oh, man.
Coin, offense, defense, and you get one shot.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. That would
pick your player. Kind of like a shootout or a what do they call it in hockey?
Yeah, shootout. Yeah.
Shootout. Yeah, thanks. I was like, what am I saying?
No, like that would be really cool. But I'd like you not to play 2 or 3 extras before you get to that point. So
yeah, give me 2 or 3 extras. That's how I feel. We've talked about that before. Yep, I agree.
We definitely have. Yep.
So let me switch gears on us. Pitchers and catchers have decided to or have been testing new audio equipment for preventing sign stealing with the added benefit of speeding up the game. Speaking of speeding up the game. Mm-hmm. And what they're doing is the catcher will have a device transmitting audio tones to a speaker or bone conduction. I don't remember, or I didn't get into the details of exactly how the technology specifically works, but it's a way to conduct an audio tone from the hat of the pitcher on the mound to his ear, so that what he can do is gain, so the catcher can communicate, okay, I want this pitch and I want it in this location. And they can be doing that while the ball is running around the field and a play's being wrapped up or whatever. And that is intending to, like, the intent is to not only cut down on sign stealing or eliminate it completely, but like I said, that should speed up the game. That's super exciting. And I like, this is a cool use of technology. This makes sense to me.
It is. And if you've watched any college baseball this year, you probably noticed that they're doing this there, because you'll see guys with like these big fat belt, what look like big fat plastic belt buckles. And actually what it is it's a play card. And the catch, I think actually every player has it, where they have, it's a card for every pitcher. So they know the pitch, the location, everything. And then I've noticed catchers have earpieces, and some of the pitchers do too. Sometimes the pitchers will look down at their arm, and I don't know if there's like some kind of electronic thing on their arm or whatever, on like a armband, but they all have them. And it's really interesting because, I mean, obviously, like we talked about, it's preventing sign stealing. And starting at that level, if these guys come into the minors and they're like, well, we don't have electronic signs.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way.
So I think it's smart of those guys to start doing it there and then moving on up the ranks with it, because it will speed up the game for sure. Yeah. It definitely will. And we won't have this whole thing with the Yankees going on either, or the Astros, and that's whoever else or whatever. Doing it.
Yeah, right.
Awesome. But speaking of experiments, we love the Petri dish of the Atlantic League. Love it. It's so fun. So this year they're going to be testing a couple of new things with the advent of the universal DH. There's been a lot of talk about how that takes away a lot of strategy. One of the suggestions is what's called the double hook. Basically, your DH is tied to your starting pitcher. Once you pull that starting pitcher, you lose the DH. Your relievers have to hit, or you put in pinch hitters. I like the idea a lot. As much as I love the DH, this is a great idea, and they're experimenting with it in the Atlantic League this season. And then the other, oh my gosh, Brig, I am so wildly crazy about this idea.
Please
so
explain
much.
it because it's so good.
It's so good. So it's called the dropped pitch rule. Now, what this is, we've talked about this before. Actually, a couple years ago, we weren't real sure about it when we talked about it, but I think we understand what's going on here. So basically, it's the drop third strike rule, but it's on every stinking pitch. And you said it doesn't matter if there's somebody on first base, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, a runner can be occupying first base for all of this to still apply.
So it's an 0-1 count, and you got runners on first and second. You got the ball goes to the backstop on a wild pitch. Everybody's moving up, including the batter. The batter's heading to first base. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, is that a lot of the complaints that I hear with robo umpires is, well, it takes away the catcher's framing. Like, I guarantee you, a lot of catchers don't really care too much. Like, yeah, like it's a
thing they got to do.
Right. I would rather try to block the ball with nobody on base than try to focus on framing pitches, because I had more fun blocking pitches even with nobody on base than I did trying to snap my wrist and frame pitches, because so often it doesn't work. You're not going to get the call anyway. That it's like, what's the point? But man, make the catcher work in this area instead, and you got yourself a ball game. Think it like it's moving all the time.
All the time. And that's the thing, is there's going to be really very little downtime on the field. The other thing too is they're hoping to make sure that pitchers are far more precise, so that there's fewer wild pitches, there's less of a chance that guys get hit. All kinds of things benefit from this opportunity, because if a guy ducks under a pitch, so the rule stipulates that the ball has to pass, the catcher has to miss it midair. So it can't have hit you can't bounce one in the dirt and goes to the backstop.
Well, I don't think you would anyway.
Well, I'm just saying, like, yeah, if it was weird.
Think about this though, like you talked about, like
ball or something.
If you've got a batter up there and you throw behind him to send a message, like that goes away. That goes away.
Yeah.
Because he's on first base anyway.
Dude stole first base because you had a bone to pick. Yeah.
So
no, it's awesome.
I think it's great. I think it's an awesome rule. I would love to see it come to Major League Baseball. And I mean, people are tired of the strikeout home run thing. This would get rid of it tomorrow.
Or we would get nothing but strikeouts and home runs, right? Because guys would end up tightening things up so much. But then this one opportunity, think about it. Okay, I was imagining it. What if you're sitting there and a ball goes behind the guy, or it's wild? It just gets away from the pitcher a little bit, right? Just enough. And the batter stands there and watches it, because that's what they do now. They just stand there and they watch it go back, and then they kind of rest the bat on their shoulder and they kick their spikes a little bit, and they fiddle with they pull a Garciaparra with their gloves, and and they're just a bunch of scratching and spitting, and that's it. But can you imagine the uproar from the fan base if they did that? And this rule is in place. They'd be like, "What are you doing?" There's so much screaming, and everybody
the dugout screaming and everything, and like it's maybe on the defensive side, everybody's like first base. Like it would be absolutely insane just on a wild pitch with nobody on base.
Insane. It takes everything and takes it and it dials it right up. I think it's great. If it came to Major League Baseball, I would be very happy. I
would be too. It would be absolutely outstanding. I think it'd be fun. I love the double hook with the DH. I think that's an awesome rule. It adds so many layers of strategy. So
that's right.
I'm curious to see how those go in the Atlantic League.